Hey there, Wendy here with Jazzydoodledesigns, and thank you for joining me today. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. I always enjoy seeing you all. We're going to be working on the Jazzydoodledesigns Advent Calendar 2025. Now, I am going to put this intro at the beginning of every single video. So if this is day 9, skip ahead if you wish, because I'm going to go over where to find the sheet and the colors and all of that. Okay, first off, where to find this sheet. I put together this PDF and you can find it on my Ko-fi shop, which will be linked in the description box below. Everything on there is, with the exception of one thing, is enabled free, pay what you want. This just means that if you want to donate to the channel, you can, but you're also welcome to pick this up at no cost to you. I want everyone to be able to play along. I am going to be using Chromaflow Colored pencils. Now, I have chosen a little bit of an unusual color palette for this. By unusual, I mean a little more muted and pastel. I thought it would be fun since last year I went with a very traditional color palette and I used Prismacolors. So I'm going to be using Chromaflow Colored pencils, and these are the colors that I chose. Now, in the event that you don't have Chromaflow, or maybe you don't have all of these, feel free to use whatever colored pencils that you want. I've put a little swatch next to them so that you can get an idea of what pencils might work for this, right? But anyway, I'm not, if I deviate, if I feel like I need another color that isn't listed here, I will flash it up on the screen. Otherwise, it's pretty easy to figure out light, medium, and dark, right? And I will try and mention that. I'll say, pick up your lightest red tone, pick up your lightest blue tone, or whatnot, to try and help you out. Generally speaking, when I do pages like this that have a lot of little images for myself, I generally color all the images and then add in the little pops of white. But for the sake of this type of video, I'm going to go ahead and add in the obvious ones to me. I may go back at the end and add some acrylic marker to really bring out these little ornaments, just because when you color those with colored pencil, it has a tendency to get a little lost. And so I may do that. I may add extra white at the end, or maybe pops of gold or something like that. I just want to let you know that going forward. But I will try and completely finish the image in each video. That way, if you only care about one, it's done. Okay? And because this is a PDF, I will most likely be adding some form of glitter to this in the form of Wink of Stella and or stickles. Like, I like to put them on fluffy things like the fur of the hats and the little stocking, and you know, who knows, I might add a little dots of gold or something like that. Okay? So use what you have and make it your own. So let's go. Hello again. We are back, and today we're going to do day 6, this little snowman. So you're going to need essentially your blue pencils, your green pencils, the red pencils, and then whatever color you want to do for your bow and your scarf. I'm going to do my scarf in blue and the little bow, I think, in gold. So that's my plan right now. So let's talk about snow. Snow is essentially white, right? The snowman is white. So how do we go about depicting white things? Well, you use some shadows. Now, we could use gray. I'm going to use my blues. So start with your darkest blue here. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of shadowing here on his bottom. And we're going to work our way up underneath the scarf here. See how it comes to a point? So that's how we know we need some shadowing here. Hold on, Ellie needs in her seat. Come on. I am her stepping stool to her bed. Underneath this little bow, a little bit here on this edge. But this is more where our light's coming from, right? Here. So on this side, I'm going to do my bigger shadow. And then underneath his brim, once again, kind of emphasizing the lower right, or the right side. We put a little bit here, but more of it's going to be there. Now, as far as this snow, we're going to do the same kind of thing. We're going to extend this off. I'm not too worried because this is the one image where I probably will white out these lines. Okay, so we're going to add our darker, and then you want to blend that out. So you're going to go in with your medium. Now basically what I want to do with this medium is I'm just softening it. I'm not trying to pull it more into the snowman so much as I'm just softening the blend to the white. Okay? I don't want harsh edges. There might be just a little under these buttons too. Okay, and then last we're going to take our lightest blue, and then once again just soften everything. Now, if you're doing a large area of snow, you may want to consider using pastels, because pastels will give you a very nice blend, right? So that's what I'm doing here, just blend. Softening up those edges, okay? No harsh lines. Okay. So now we've allowed that blue to define the white, right? Because our eye says there's something there now. Now, I'm going to take my... Why do I always lose it? Oh, here it is. Because it's right in front of me. Whenever you want to lose something, just put it right in front of you. Okay, make sure that your white colored pencil doesn't have any color on it. And then we're going to do a light layer. And we're going to really soften and blend our lines. Right? But I'm doing this for two reasons. One, I think it's kind of fun if you take a little bit of like this, what is it, Parmesan, and oh so lightly, guys, just barely add just a little tiny bit. Don't get into the blue because then we're going to create green. But just add a little touch of that yellow. And then I'm going to use this blush pink. And once again, I mean, the lightest I can hold it. Now I am going to give him a little bit of a rosy glow here in his cheeks. That's kind of fun. But see how I've added that a little bit into the blue? Just think that's fun. I'm adding it a little bit here to the darker, which is going to make it a little bit kind of purpley. But I just feel like it gives your snowman a little bit of life, right? Now we're going to color just the rest of things just like we would, right? Our field green, green, is it gray? Field gray. I thought it was gray, but then I said green. I'm so easily confused myself. Okay, there's another one. So just color these up like we did our other ones. Okay, now let's take our red, the red wood. We're going to do our little berries, just like we did before, darker on the one side. I just added a little berry there. I'm going to add a little bit of this blush pink to these, just to make them a little different from the other ones. Okay. They're so tiny. Now, I'm going to make the bow and the brim of his hat like a gold color. So I'm going to get Spice, Willow, Sandcastle, Parmesan, and maybe this natural brown. We'll see. So I'm going to start with Spice. Just a little bit there. Now, in our bow, in these little divots, right? All along that edge, and then the little divot. I like to give my bow like a little darkness here. Okay, and then underneath, so anytime something curves, we're going to have that. Now we're going to go in with our sandcastle. Not all the way, leave a little white. Same here. Okay, and then the Parmesan. Now it kind of looks a hot mess right now. Be patient. Okay, because a lot of it is in the shading. So let's grab our Willow. will darken up this area. I'm not too worried. I went out of the lines a little bit. That's okay, because I'm going to do that part black. Okay, now let's bring in a little of that Dijon. By bringing in these darker yellows, these richer yellows, it makes that lighter yellow that we put on earlier really pop. Okay, and then we're going to take our natural brown and really deepen up like the edges, right? Not going very far. I don't want to extend that too much. Okay, and then blend it all out again, same colors. So here's Spice. And then a little bit of, I'm going to go in with soft yellow. Okay, a little bit more up there. All right, I'm going to go in with my darkest green, and I'm going to deepen up our holly a little. Okay, initially I thought I was going to do the scarf in blue, but I think I'm going to do it in red. I just feel like if I put the blue, it kind of takes away from my snowman. So I'm going to go in with that redwood, and I'm going to give it stripes. So let's see, here will be a stripe. Right? Okay, now I'm going to take that blush pink, and I'm just going to blend the red. Just fill any space that maybe I missed. And this will just kind of help brighten it a little bit. Yeah. Okay, now I'm going to bring in black, and I'm going to do the buttons, and the eyes, and the hat. Nice light layers to begin with. Underneath this hat is going to be darker. Okay. Now, just for a little visual interest, I'm going to take my middle blue. I'm going to add a little bit of, maybe the darker blue. Yeah, there we go. We're going to add a little bit of blue here. Now I'm adding it all over, but if you notice, I left a little gap right here where it's a little more pure, because I just think that adds a little visual interest too. I often use blue when I color black hair. Okay. Now let's get our white out, and oh, we need a nose. So I'm going to go in with my brightest yellow, right? I'm going to do a little layer there, and then I'm going to go in with spice. And then I'm going to go in with the brightest yellow again. And a little bit more spice. Okay. Now, let's get our white marker. And we're going to go over our lines. Now, the choice is yours if you want to go over your snowman's lines. I don't think I'm going to. But what I am going to do is I'm going to dot the white pen over kind of this colored area that we did. And maybe just a few dots on him as well. If you don't like them in the end, wait for them to dry and then just scratch them off with your finger. I'm going to put one little highlight on each of these berries. Okay, and maybe just a little one on his nose. Some highlights here on our bow. If you mess up, just go over it. Okay. Okay. And then I'm going to take my darkest blue, just a little tiny line under the buttons. Okay. Now, if you don't like the eyes, fix them, right? If you mess them up like I did, just fix them. Wait for everything to dry. Right? And just go ahead and fix it. Or like here on the nose, I don't really like that. Just get any sort of, I have some tweezers here. Just scratch it off. Okay? you can really define your lines. Like I have a, oh, what are these called? Compass. Man, I'm just barely in screen. Hope you guys aren't screaming at me the whole time. See, I don't have to scratch off all of it, but I can do a little bit. Or I can do all of it, right? But I think he turned out kind of cute. If you don't like his mouth, you can go over it with, you could put in a different one if you want, but I'm going to leave him alone. But I am keeping the outline just because everything else on the page I've kept the outline for. That's just a personal choice. Now, because we're using stickles on this page, I am going to put ever so slightly, just a tiny bit of stickles here. She says as she puts a lot. It's easy to get a lot of these, right? Which is why they can be troublesome in your books, because then it adds a lot of texture to the next page. But can you see the stickles on everything? All right, guys. So that's it for today, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you for watching another video from Jazzydoodledesigns. If you'd like even more Jazzydoodle and a little more snark, please check out the membership below. If you're looking for a community where you can share your work and chat with other fellow colorists in a safe and welcoming environment, hit the subscribe button to Jazzydoodledesigns and then look for Jazzydoodledesigns Coloring Community on Facebook. And there you can join a group of fellow colorists to talk all things coloring and share cute pet pictures. I hope to see you there. And until next time, happy coloring.